This is an old handmade Eric Schulte Les Paul. Now Eric was a luthier in the Philly area here, and older guy. I think he was in his late 80s, in the late 90s when I started, so I never really met him. I never met him, but I spoke to many people about him, and you out there may have worked with him and had him do repairs for you. Maybe he made you a Schulte original as well. This one was made, I think, 1987, because that's what the pot stayed at. And then it has a pair of Tim Shaw pickups in it, which are from the 80s. So, I mean, it could be older than that, and the pots could have been replaced, but I'm pretty sure that's a good way of dating it. It has a couple of old capacitors in there for the tone too, so I think they're like from the 50s or something. At least one of them is from the 50s. You know, so he's using parts from other things, and but the best part about it is the bird's eye maple top. You know, that was a thick piece of maple that he carved down to get that arch top, and you know, book matched. A master at it, really. And then he did a couple of his own things too. Like Les Pauls are usually 2 inches thick, but this one's 1 3/4, so it's a little thinner. It weighs 9 pounds, right? That's better. Also, the neck is really slim taper. I mean, this is like an early 70s SG. It's thinner this way. It's like 1 5/8 here, and normally, you know, 1 11/16. So you're thinner by a 16th. That brings everything in a little bit, like, you know, like a 70s SG. So if you're used to that, you'll be used to this. But this way it's thinner too. So it's just, you know, if you like a thin neck, this is the one, because it's lightning fast, and it has big fat frets on it. Now I guess they could have been refretted, but the way the binding is, there's no surface area of the binding on the top. You just see it from the side, right? So, you know, I know just from putting in frets that you got to figure out how that binding, or how the fret's going to sit on the binding, and there is nothing to sit on. So you end up seeing some tang as it comes around. So that could have been done that way, or it could have been refretted, and that was the only way to get the fret in, because there's nothing for it to sit on top. So to get it to feel nice, you see a little tang there. I don't know, like I said, it could have been done that way, or it could have been done by somebody else who did it right as well, because that's how you want it, as far as feel is concerned. You know, when the binding is that thin. So that's what you get. And, you know, it reminds me of a really old 60s Les Paul, or, you know, 125. You know, the binding was just so thin back then. You know, and in the 90s, you get so much surface area that they actually have that fat plastic end of a fret on every one, you know, the nub. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just a super great quality guitar. It's like playing, you know, a 70s, even a 60s Les Paul, but you know, it has like binding on the headstock, right? So in a lot of ways, it's a standard rosewood fretboard, crown inlay, binding on the headstock, which is different because usually there's no binding. And then what else? Binding on the top, which is right for a standard, but binding on the back, that's different. So it has its own vibe that Gibson never really did. I guess it's gold hardware, but it's so worn by this point. I kind of like gold hardware when it's worn. I don't like it when it's all shiny and yellowy orange, you know. But it's just a ripping guitar, and affordable for what. Also, check out that pickguard. That's a maple, flame maple pickguard with a hand bound. It was handmade with binding. Pretty cool, right? So, $2,500, and this is like the real deal Les Paul, and it's handmade. I mean, I think it was probably very affordable when he made it for the person, because that person could have just gotten a Gibson. I think the idea was to get something cheaper from Eric. Still, these are very affordable because people don't know. $2,500 for this is shocking. This should be a $4,000 guitar. It is so amazing. It rocks so hard, you know? Let's see. brassy thing that happens on the neck pickup when it's a real good pickup, and you know, maple top and mahogany back. I mean, it's just such a cool sound, you know. It's getting into like Brian May or like you know, all those sounds. Really cool. Bridge pickup again. I mean, you can just fly on it. Middle position, you know, like Jimmy Page does a lot. I wish it was left-handed. I could rip it up better that way, but it's still pretty fun to play, you know. Everything about it is super cool. It's pretty, and it's got all that old 70s, 60s vibe that you just love from an old guitar. And it comes in an old 80s Gibson chainsaw case with the Gibson logo torn off, I guess. Maybe that's how he sold it, just so he didn't say Gibson on it. But man, pretty awesome. I've never had one in the shop. I've been here 27 years. This is the first one, and I don't know if we'll ever see another one. So if you like to be the guy playing something different that's not a Gibson, and you like the thin neck, this is a majorly awesome Les Paul. I don't know what else to say. It's awesome. There you go.